We're back. Time for another edition of the Carolina Insider Rapid Reactions edition after a lengthy Tar Heel win. 2.5 hours it took, but that's because there was so much offense. Carolina beats Tennessee 100-92. Tennessee came into the game number one defensive efficiency team in the nation, and the Tar Heels score 100 points, win it 100-92. Jones Angell Adam Lucas here with you. Adam, this was as wild a game as I can remember in some time because you had 25 minutes where the Tar Heels did everything right. I mean, they looked like a national championship favorite. Their offense was clicking. Their defense was doing enough to challenge a good team in Tennessee. They were rebounding. They were sharing the basketball. They were running. I mean, everything. And then you had 15 minutes where Tennessee could do no wrong. And in particular, Dalton Knecht, who puts up 37 points. He almost single-handedly gets Tennessee back in the game. Tar Heels lead by as many as 24. Tennessee cut it down to 6 at one point. And eventually it's a 192 game. Most importantly, Tar Heels win. Second most importantly, plenty to work on.
And Hubert Davis talked about that with you afterwards, which folks will see. There'll be a training tape that'll come from this that'll have some things that Carolina can pick up on. Those first 25 minutes, I mean, you said national championship contender. They look like the Showtime Lakers.
Yeah, they were incredible.
Running after makes, running after misses. Elliot Cadeau was huge.
Yes.
In controlling the tempo. That's probably the best game by a Carolina player I've ever seen in which the Carolina player didn't make a basket.
Yeah, he was 0 of 5 from the field, had 5 points all at the free throw line.
10 assists and no turnovers. Incredible.
That means just as a side, that the last 4 games for Cadeau, 21 assists and 1 turnover.
The Cadeau-Davis duo, Cadeau-RJ Davis duo, I think people question, can they defend? Well, it's not ideal. You'd like them to be 6'6", but the other team has to guard them too.
Yeah.
And right now, those two are making that very difficult because while Cadeau was passing it, RJ Davis was shooting it, and he was big in that second half. Tennessee cut it to 8, and he made a driving layup that was a tough shot. And then they cut it to 7. He made a 3, pushed it back to 10. He had the response when the Tar Heels needed it.
Couple of individual numbers, and Adam reference you're going to hear from Coach Davis here in just a moment, as well as from RJ Davis. Adam talked to RJ after this one too. RJ Davis, the leading scorer with 27 points, so he has 57 points in the last 2 games for the Tar Heels. And what do you have, 23 in the Villanova game, I think? So you're up to 80 points in the last 3 games. 22-11 for Baycott. He was, I thought, very good in the first half and then was good enough in the second half, bounces back after some low statistical performances in the games in the Bahamas. Harrison Ingram just kind of quietly puts up 20 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals. And Cormac Ryan, unsure if he was going to play. He ends up scoring 15. And Adam referenced Cadeau, 10 assists, no turnovers. He becomes the first Tar Heel with double figures assists since R.J. Davis had 12 against Marquette in the first round of the tournament in 2022. The first freshman to have 10 or more assists in a game since Marcus Page did it in the ACC tournament against Florida State in 2013. So some impressive individual numbers for Carolina as well as an impressive team victory. Let's get to the conversations with Hubert Davis and with RJ Davis, and then Adam and I will talk a little more about this one when we come back here on the Carolina Insider. Let's start with the first, let's say the first 25, 27 minutes or so of this game. Your team was playing at an extraordinarily high level. What did you like from what you saw?
Well, offensively, I liked our pace. I mean, we just pushed the ball in transition. We were really fast offensively, and we were getting layups and dunks, deep post catches. From an offensive standpoint, we're doing a good job driving the ball and creating those rotations and allowing us to get wide open threes. And so we're getting to the free throw line. So from an offensive standpoint, we were on point. I thought defensively we were locked in as well. I thought they scored in the first half off of our mistakes as opposed to when we had a man-on-man. And the first half of basketball, some of the best basketball I've seen in the 12 years that I've been here as a coach, as an assistant, as a head coach. It was pretty special.
Tennessee's a really good team. You knew they were going to make a push. So then when they made their comeback, what would you have liked to have seen better from your guys?
Well, Dalton Connect is a lottery pick. He just is. His size, athleticism, ability to score, and we just didn't have anybody that could stop him. And so we started double teaming him to get the ball out of his hands, but other guys started to step up because I think in the first half they were only 1 of 12 from three-point range, and so other guys started to step up. I felt like we did some of the things in the second half that we were doing at times in the Bahamas. We were fouling and not being disciplined on the defensive end, so they were able to score, getting to the free throw line. And then on the offensive end, we just didn't execute. We weren't taking care of the basketball. We weren't taking the shots that we were generating in the first half. And I just I'm so proud and so happy, but I'm also very encouraged because there is a training tape out there to grow from and to get better at, so that it wasn't so close towards the end in the second half.
Coach, you had 3 guys that scored 20 or more points, but I want to ask you about a player who only scored 5 points, and that was Elliot Cadeau. He had 10 assists and no turnovers. It felt like he really controlled some of that pace and some of that action in the first half.
Yeah, he was great. One of the things that he does really well is, he pitches the ball ahead. And that's the fastest way to advance the basketball and get into early offense is pitching the ball to an open player. We have wings that are running in transition. He just does a terrific job instinctively just passing to that open guy. And that allows us to really generate things, great shots in transition. And so for him, I can't remember a time, maybe Marcus Page had 10 assists and 0 turnovers against the number 1 rated defensive team in the country in Tennessee. That's big time.
Coach, Armando didn't have the at least stats that he wanted to have in the games in the Bahamas. He had not had double figures the last 2 games. He comes back with 22 points and 11 rebounds tonight. What did he do better in your mind this evening?
Well, one of the things that we talked about is, there are going to be times throughout the year where, your shot doesn't go in. And so, can you make an impact in other areas? And then also, offensively, what is your response? For us to be a really good basketball team, we need Armando to be dominant down low on the post. And he did a really good job of getting low post position. When he caught it in there, he scored or got fouled. He got us into the penalty. And the reason why we got great looks from the perimeter is because of his effort down low in the paint. And so he stepped up big against a really good Tennessee team with a big front line, and I was really happy for him.
Just a great atmosphere tonight. Smith Center was rocking. It was packed. It just felt like just a great night of Carolina basketball.
Yeah, it was real tonight. And I before we went out to the court, I was really excited for our new guys like Harrison and Cormac and Pax and Jay Witt and Zayden. They've never seen the Smith Center like it was tonight. And so to put on that uniform and to run out of that tunnel and to play on that floor in front of 22,000 against one of the better teams in the country, doesn't get any better than that, and I'm very happy that we got the win.
Carolina puts up 100 in the victory against Tennessee, one of the top defensive efficiency team in the country coming into this game. Carolina wins at 192. Coach, thank you for your time, and look forward to talking with you this weekend.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's Hubert Davis, guys, in the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Thank you, sir.
Alongside R.J. Davis, after Carolina gets biscuits against Tennessee, 192. R.J. has 27 points. R.J., just in general, your thoughts on a big win over a top 10 opponent?
I mean, it's always a great win. Credits to Tennessee. They're a great team, and they play hard, from the first half to the second half. But overall, just, beating a top-ranked team, it's always a great feeling, especially doing it at home. You got the crowd on your side, everyone going, your adrenaline's rushing through. So it was a great win. I'm super proud of the guys, the way we, fought from, start to finish. We learned a lot of things that we could learn, that we could moving forward for the next few games, because it's gonna be a battle. But just to come out and dig deep when players were we had a lot of guys that stepped up, from Seth to Elliott to Cormac to Paxton. Everyone was dialed in and knew the scouting report and knew what type of team and what type of game it was going to be going today.
Coach Davis was very clear about what type of game it was going to be starting on Monday in practice, about the fight that would be required to beat a team like that. What kind of fight were you prepared to have tonight, and what did it take to beat a team that wants to play very physically?
That was going to be a brawl. I just knew, they play with a lot of physicality, and, our main message was to go in there and throw the first punch. Especially doing at home. We don't like to lose at home. That's one of our goals, and we just came out with the, sense of emergency with the, being locked in. I think this whole week we were, prepared, and Coach Davis got on us with practice right after we got back from break, but that's what's needed sometimes to just get us going, just to prepare for what's coming. And this team is special. It's so dynamic, and the way we fight from the starters all the way to the bench, this is going to be one hell of a season.
It was one hell of a first half, as Carolina puts up 61 points against a team that's allowed a maximum of 41.5 this year. What made that first half work so effectively in every possible way offensively?
I mean, our mentality was going from good to great. And what I mean by that is good to great shots. So there's a couple of times where we had open looks, but we passed it up to a guy who's even more open. And that's what we were doing all in the first half. We had a lot of transition buckets. We was able to push the ball and, go run the game with our pace. We was able to, pitch the ball ahead, and that was key for us, man. I mean, just from EC to myself, just finding opening guys to pitch the ball ahead and to get the ball down low and, dominate points in the paint. I think that's what all worked well in the first half, and plus we shot it really well.
They cut it to 8 in the second half. You made a layup. They cut it to 7. You made a 3. The thought for the day yesterday was, what is your response going to be? Yep. How were you able to respond in the key situations tonight?
Just to step up. I know this team relies on me, and I have a lot of confidence and, trust myself in times like that where, it's down to the wire. I'm going to step up and make big time plays, and that's what I did. There's a couple of times I told the guys in the huddle that we got to stop trading baskets, though, because we would score a basket, and then they would come back down and score as well. So we clean that up. But, just my mentality just overall this year is just focus on this year, focus on this team, and, just be that player that I know I am.
There might even be Tar Heel fans out there who aren't 100% sure if they should believe in this team yet. Why should they?
I mean, I think it's pretty evident in our work and how we battle and how unselfish we are. We're never, cheering for our own, made basket. It's usually the other way. We're cheering for, the assist that we made or, the other person. And that's what this team is so special for. And, for the doubters that don't believe in us, just wait because, we got a lot coming.
Lot coming, including Saturday. ACC opener already against Florida State. R.J. Davis, 27 points tonight as Carolina beats Tennessee. R.J., thank you.
Appreciate it.
So the Tar Heels get the win. They improved to 6-1 overall, 100-92 the final. Adam, again, there's plenty to work on, and Carolina was certainly not where they wanted to be in those last 15 minutes. But you also have to juxtapose that with the fact that they were incredible for the first 25. Most importantly, they won the game, and they're starting to get a couple of quality wins, which was a big issue a year ago, particularly from this time of the season. But now you've got the win over Arkansas, the win over Tennessee. I think what's going to end up being a nice win against Northern Iowa on a neutral floor, and plenty of opportunities left. So you're halfway through this 8-game stretch of the 3 games in the Bahamas and then the 5 games of Tennessee, Florida State, UConn, Kentucky, Oklahoma. It's not getting any easier, but you're 4 games through this 8-game stretch at 3-1 with some quality wins.
You've built some type of foundation that hopefully means you won't be desperate in February, and you don't have to depend on the rest of the ACC to provide you with those opportunities to get good wins, because that was a big problem last year. There just weren't enough of those opportunities against a league that was down. This year, the Tar Heels getting those wins and taking advantage of those opportunities in November and also hopefully in December, so that that just won't be as important later in the year. But as you said, there's no break because you got to start conference play.
Yeah. Free throw line was important tonight. Carolina didn't have a field goal in the last 7 minutes. It was 6:56 in total, but they went, I believe it was 13 of 16 from the free throw line in that time period to help keep Tennessee at arm's length. Look, when Villanova shoots 36 free throws, I question it, but when the Tar Heels shoot 38, obviously that's correct.
That's just good basketball,
Yeah.
Jones, not cheating like when Villanova does it.
Carolina was 32 of 38 at the line. And we know R.J. Davis is an excellent shooter at the line and in general, but we're talking about the free throw line. Cormac Ryan, had he not fouled out, I think would have been a key option at the line down the stretch. He still went 7 of 7. His only miss on the year was on purpose at the end of the Villanova game. Baycott was 10 of 13. Harrison Ingram, who struggled a little early, was 4 of 4. And Cadeau, who came into this game right around 50%, missed 2 early, and then went 5 of his last 6 at the free throw line. So an important part of this game, and it appears like an important part of Carolina's season because they've been pretty good there at the Stripes so far.
And encouraging that Cadeau made those late.
Yeah.
Because you can forgive some of those, and he's missed some late in the Bahamas, which were problematic. So for him to be able to come back and do that, that's important because he's going to need to have the ball in his hands in some of those situations.
Last thing before we go, Dalton Knecht, 37 points, tied for the most in the history of the Smith Center by an opponent. He probably breaks that record if he doesn't roll his ankle with about 90 seconds left because he was going to the free throw line on the play in which he got hurt. And he's a very good free throw shooter. He was 7 of 8 in this game and was above 80% for the season. Dalton Knecht will be a problem for anybody. But, Adam, that is something Carolina's got to figure out. And now, again, you're talking about a 6'6 guy who is very athletic and shot the three really well in this game. He will be hard for anyone. But Carolina tried Harrison Ingram. They tried Seth Trimble. Cormac Ryan, not 100% with the ankle, but he tried some too, and they just couldn't find somebody to stop him. They tried to double him some, and to Carolina's credit, trying something different. And to Knecht's credit, he passed it out, and his teammates hit some shots. As fine an individual performance by an opposing player as I can remember in a long time. And I'm talking even better than the 34 points in back-to-back games that individuals scored in the Bahamas.
Well, think of all the times you sat there in the Smith Center and watched an opponent go off. I'm not going to name their names because no one wants their night ruined. He was better than all those guys.
Yeah.
He and Lionel Simmons just standing alone, shoulder to shoulder. Who'd Lionel Simmons do that against?
Yeah, look, Pete Chilcutt was a little nervous that record was being brought up multiple times in this game. Tennessee's good, and this is a good win for Carolina. So, Tar Heels improved to 6-1, back at home on Saturday against Florida State. 2:00 tip. We're on the air at 1:00. Don't forget the tip-off club. Rocking on Wednesday night. It'll be even more rocking on Saturday afternoon. That starts at noon right in front of the Smith Center. But for tonight, what a great win for the Heels. They beat Tennessee 100-92. Biscuits. Adam's going to go get the biscuits immediately. Tar Heels winning by 8. Thanks for joining us here on the Carolina Insider.